everybody, and welcome to IELTS Learning Tips and another video in my video series. And today I want to look at keywords in reading. So if you haven't met me before, my name's Bernie Wall and I'm an IELTS trainer, teacher, and I was an examiner in a previous existence. Yes, for a few years I was an IELTS examiner. And I work with students, small groups and one-to-one, helping them to achieve high bands. So I specialize really in students who need 7, 7.5, 8. And I also work a lot with students who have taken the exam a few times and haven't got those scores. And we work on what needs to happen, or the things that need to be fixed or improved or developed to make sure that the score is achieved. And I have quite a good track record with those students. So many of my students, most I would say, get the scores that they want once they address the things that are stopping them. And today I want to look at reading, and specifically keywords, because this reading is one of my particular areas of interest. I really enjoy teaching reading, and most of my students do very well in reading. I would say the majority will get 8, 8.5, 7.5, and often from a place where they hated reading and they were frightened of reading, and I'm able to help them to improve their reading and get those high scores. So today I want to talk about keywords, which is a critical thing in both getting the right answers, but also improving your speed in the writing. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'll just go back on that because it's gone to the second. Okay, so in my opinion, it's fun to match keywords. A lot of people don't agree with that. They don't use keywords, and if they don't use keywords, then I'm quite flummoxed to understand how they manage to get the right answers and do it in less than 60 minutes. But keywords are really the best way to do the reading. And they will help you to improve your speed and your accuracy. And I think it's quite a fun thing to do, to be fair. So why is it fun? First of all, before we look at that, the important thing to understand is that the keywords that you need to identify are those in the question, not in the text. Finding a keyword in the text is useless if you don't know what the question is. So don't worry about the vocabulary in the text. Find the words in the question and then go to the text, and all will be revealed. So you match your keywords in the question with words that correspond in the text. And then the answer pops out. So if you've got the right keywords and the right number of keywords, the answer should just come out quite easily. And it's like the thrill of the hunt. Imagine it as a treasure hunt, and your keywords are the clues. And using those clues, you look for the place in the text, and then you look in that place for the actual answer you need, the 1, 2, or 3 words that you require to complete the answer. I've always enjoyed treasure hunts. I used to do them as a child. I often used to do them for my own children. So it's something that I think if you approach it that way, it can be quite fun and enjoyable. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the words that come back again and again. And this is why keywords can be quite easy to spot. So the first thing to note in keywords is that there are 2 types of keyword in the question. One is the word to find you a location, which I've talked about before. So these are often names, numbers, percentages, dates, for example, and those are quite easy to find. And the other words are the words that will help you pinpoint the exact answer. And sometimes those words are surprising because they're not content words. They are things like only, like more, like ever, never, some, these kinds of words, which you really need to take notice of in the future, in the past. I've found students quite often who picked up an answer about the question for the question, but the answer came from a part of the text that was talking about the future, and the question asked them about the past. And it was a simple question, a simple answer, but because they didn't take note of the past in the question, then they got it wrong. So these words are just as important as the actual content words. So here are some examples that I came across. So we've got mosquito eggs are capable of surviving in dry conditions. Now, the words in orange are the key words that I would have chosen. This is a true, false, not given question. And I would have chosen these. Mosquito eggs, we need to find that. That's what you find in the text. And then we want to know if they can survive in dry conditions. Now, I'm expecting that there will be a synonym of survive and possibly a synonym of dry conditions. So that's how I would approach that question. So when I go to the text, I'm looking for mosquito eggs. And I find eggs, and I find this word desiccated, which means they're dry. Okay. And then I find the word viable. And viable means usable. So it means they have survived. So viable here is a kind of synonym for survive. And remain viable remains quite important because it means long term. So it means the same as survive. And I can tell you that I have seen both of these words, desiccated and viable, in other IELTS texts. So if I didn't know those words, it would be well worth remembering them because they may come back again. And I've seen them in other texts. And this tends to happen. You will see words come back again and again in different texts. Okay. So here's another example. So animals which feed on mosquitoes may be adversely affected by global warming. So these are the keywords I've chosen. And I know before I go to the text that animals which feed on is probably predators. And again, predators is a word which is always associated with animals. And so you will find, if you have a text on animals, that there's a possibility, a high possibility, that that word will be in the text. So again, a word that you need to know. Adversely affected, that's what I need to find out. So again, this is a yes, no, not given question. And global warming. So what I'm going to look at is feed on mosquitoes and global warming. That's my location. And then what I want to know is, are these predators, animals, adversely affected? So does global warming have an effect on predators, essentially? That's what I need to find out. Predators of mosquitoes. So in the text, when I go there, I find climate change. This is a very common synonym for global warming in IELTS, but generally in reading. Then we see that it tells me that climate change, namely global warming, reduces the populations of predators. There's that word I was expecting, that normally keep mosquitoes in check. So these predators keep the numbers of mosquitoes down. That's what that means, in check. Because they eat mosquitoes, they keep the numbers low. And therefore, the populations reduce. So climate change is causing these populations of predators to reduce. And so, as a result, the mosquitoes are not kept in check. They're not kept low. So what we need to find out is, are these predators adversely affected by global warming? So it seems that that is the case because climate change reduces the numbers of them. So if their numbers are reduced, it means that something bad is happening to them. So the answer is correct, yes. they are adversely affected by global warming. Okay. And I've mentioned here that as soon as I saw animals which feed on, I knew I was going to look for the word predator. So sometimes when you do a lot of reading, when you know a lot of vocabulary, you can anticipate what the word is going to be. And in the summaries also, you can often find the word in the box because you have a wide vocabulary and a good understanding of the text. So matching keywords is how you find the right place for the answer and how you find exactly the words you need to create that answer to the question. Okay, answers do pop out if you have the right keywords. So number one, you'll find the right place. And remember, you need a few keywords, 3 or 4. You'll be able to match the information if you've got those keywords because they will come together and the answer will be clear. If it doesn't happen, there are problems, and these are possibly the problems. Are you in the right place? If you just pick one keyword, it's unlikely you'll find exactly the right place. So make sure you have 3 or 4. So that's that. Did you choose enough keywords? Have you forgotten some of those? Sometimes what happens is when students go into the text, they get seduced by one keyword and they forget about the others. And that was my example of the person that I said got the wrong information because they were looking in the future of this topic and not in the past of this topic. So don't get seduced and waylaid by single keywords. They've all got to come together. And if you're still not sure, go back to the question because it's possible that you've forgotten a keyword in the question and that's what's causing the problem. Okay. Learn new vocabulary. This will help you with both the question words and the synonyms you need in the text. Learn synonyms for words like their predator. There are other words associated with animals that often come up: herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, habitat, distribution. All of these words come up again and again with texts about animals. Even if you don't have them in the reading, you might be able to use them in your writing or speaking. For example, the words I've just talked about, if you get a question on animals in speaking, which is quite possible, I've seen it, or in writing, again, it's quite possible. There are topics on extinction. These words will be absolutely important to what you want to say. Nothing is ever wasted. If it doesn't help you in the reading, it will help you in the writing or the listening or the speaking. Language is integrated. We don't put reading in a box, listening in a box, writing in a box, and speaking in a box. They all interact with each other. Think of them as puzzles. Puzzles are fun. Skills for matching, summarizing, completing tables, labeling down diagrams. You can find all of these things in puzzle books. Specific words is like doing a crossword. So where you're asked for one word in the text, it's just like finding a word in a crossword puzzle. Get to know the system that's used by the question writer, the puzzle setter. So the more you learn, the better you'll be able to do it. The synonyms are part of the system. So I can anticipate quite often what the synonym is going to be because I have a good level of vocabulary. And the more you do this, the more you work with these keywords, the more you work with matching them, the faster you'll get at this. And then, like many of my students, you'll be able to do the reading in 50 minutes or 55 minutes, and then you'll have 5 minutes to go back and check any that you are not 100% sure about. And when I say 100% sure, I mean 100% sure. If you go back and check all your questions, you'll start changing them, and that is a disaster. So only check the ones that you're not clear about. By the way, on this text to speech thing, there are some errors there. Check is the wrong kind of check. So it should be C-H-E-C-K. This spell thing doesn't spell. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say about keywords. They are key, they are important, and they can be fun, and they can make the reading more enjoyable. So I hope that was useful. As I said, I have said before, if you want to speak to me about your IELTS, I would be delighted. If you want to work with me on your IELTS, I'd be even more pleased. I do enjoy working with students, and I love seeing their progress and then watching them be successful in the exam. So I'm very happy to talk to you about what's going on in your IELTS, the best way to fix that. And if you want me to help you with that, then again, I'd be delighted. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.